It's going again. There might be a max for a video.
Okay, I'll try to back up a little bit. Putting the X in the nipple has not worked for me. Putting hot needle in the nipple has not worked for me. So I cut the very tip of it off and get a little tiny hole. Sometimes you have to go through a couple of nipples. It happens. So just until you get a real small nipple for the little itty bitty ones, and then as they get older you can go bigger, because if they try to suck and they don't get anything, they'll give up. But if you get it too big, they'll drown themselves. I don't know why, but they do. So as I said, when they get older, get the nipple hole a little bit bigger so they don't give up. Yep. Now the syringe, I use a syringe on the babies that don't want to suckle right at first, or you have to force feed them. So you're putting a drop of the formula on their tongue, let them swallow, another drop, let them swallow. Sometimes that's what you have to do to get them started if they've got low blood sugar, because when they do, they don't have the energy to suck, so you have to get them started like that. And just, you have to go slow and be very patient with that. Make sure you don't drown. Make sure the bottles and the nipples and your hands are clean, just like you would a baby. I like the Petco bottles. There's Pet AG and there's some different ones, but this ring here, I like it better. I think it seats on the bottle better and holds better, but everybody has their own preferences. So, but those are my favorites, are those. Never feed a cold or overheated kittens, because their little systems don't work right when they're either cold or overheated, and you can kill them. So don't, make sure their body temperature is as close to yours as possible, and where it's supposed to be normal. Once they get to normal, then you can start feeding them on the schedule. But don't, like I said, don't feed them if they're too cold or too hot. At a week and a half, you can start. You can start one overnight feeding for 6 hours. Give you a little bit of break there, because at that age they're old enough and they can go for the 6 hours, and you can get some rest for a change. Don't overfeed them or underfeed them. If you overfeed them, you can give them diarrhea. If you're underfeeding them, you're not getting enough nourishment. Watch their weights. Get a scale, something like this, and get something like this to put them in and weigh it. This scale will do, weigh this empty, and then you put the kittens in and give you the kittens' weight. When you do weigh them at the same time every day. In other words, if you weigh in the mornings, about the same time every morning. If you weigh them at night, every night. Now, when they get older, you don't have to weigh them every day. Usually when they get older, I'll weigh them once a week, just to make sure they're growing. Watch for dehydration. If they get lethargic, if their skin, starts tensing up, or their poo starts getting real dry, then you'll want to start adding some more fluids in their bottle. Feed them on their tummies like they would when they're feeding from mama. Otherwise, you can drown them very quickly. So you feed them on their tummies, let them take the milk as they can. Don't squeeze the bottle. You can squeeze it just enough to get the milk in the nipple, but don't squeeze it to where it's coming out the nipple. Just make sure the milk is in the nipple, and then they can go from there. Be patient with them. Stay calm. Don't get frustrated, because remember, this is new to them too. They're like going, what is this? It doesn't taste right. It doesn't feel right. So they've got to get used to it too. A lot of the times, if they're hungry enough and they taste that milk, they'll start right up. But it just depends. Mama's milk is a lot better for them than the milk that we use, and mama's milk helps them stay full longer. So if they don't eat the right way, they may not be hungry yet. So just wait another 30 minutes to an hour, try again. Still not wait another 30 minutes to an hour, try again. Until they catch on the idea and they get started. And once you get them started, just hold on, because they will start sucking it dry. Did I put that? Okay, don't squeeze it all. Remember, they're not going to eat a whole lot of food. They've got very, very tiny tummies. So it's going to be just like a quarter of a teaspoon at a time. And then it'll just work its way bigger and bigger and bigger, but they've got very little tummies, so you don't want to overfill those little tummies. If you're feeding multiples, feed your first one, burp them, because that's another thing that they can't do. So you have to burp them after their bottles. Clean up their little bottom, go to the next one until you get them all done and start over again until they're all full. That's the easiest way to do it. When you burp them, you can put them up on your shoulder, burp them like you would a baby. I put them over my hand, use like 2 fingers or 1 finger, just kind of tap on their tummies. And you're going to know because you're going to be thumping and it's going to sound real hollow. So until that real hollow sound is gone, just keep tapping real gently and they'll finally burp and get rid of that air bubble. If they start choking, like they got it down the back of their throat and into their lungs, you can either just put them upside down and pat on them, or do this real gently, and that centrifugal force will help pull it out. And make sure you keep patting their nose and getting that milk that's coming out off, or else they'll breathe it back in. So it's just a matter of watching them. When you get brand new babies, we're talking about just hours old, start out with 1/3 extra water than the formula calls for to mix together. That's for their first couple of days. Then days 3 through 5, have it about 1/4 extra. And then on day 6, you can feed them the full amount, the full strength formula. Do not use cat's milk. Do not use cow's milk. These are not good for their little tummies. They can't digest it and it can kill them. Use the GNC, Tamar, Petlac, and I've got recipes for Kitty Glop in the back. And this is the homemade kitten recipe. I've used the Kitty Glop too, works just fine. And it tastes pretty good too. It tastes like custard. When you're doing the mixing, you can use the colostrum. You can get baby acidophilus or regular acidophilus to help their little tummies, because their little tummies are trying to reorganize and trying to be on this new food and all, and their tummies will get upset. And the Benebac and that, all this kind of stuff will help their tummy to settle down and help it start working like it should. The colostrum and the lysine is to help with their immune system. These are not something you have to do, but this is stuff that I have found helps. And you just add it in with the formula. Feed the formula at room or body temperature, like you would a baby. If you use a microwave, Terry Lynn and I do it 2 different ways. Terry Lynn puts a cup in the microwave, puts the water up, puts the bottle in the cup of water and warms it up that way. I'll put it in the microwave, cook it for like 10 seconds, and I'll just keep, for about while I'm walking from the kitchen into the bedroom to feed them. Because you don't want hot spots. And if you just keep shaking it, that'll get the hot spots out. So like I said, it's however you want to do it. Only make enough for 24 hours a day, because after 24 hours you need to throw it away and get some fresh. So it only lasts for 24 hours. If your healthy baby is not eating as much as they normally do between feedings, you might have to start backing it up. So instead of 2 hours, 2.5 hours. They're still not 3 hours. Just, and just see, and if 3 hours seems to be working, stay there for a while. I have a chart in the guides that I gave you that tells you about when they start needing less and less, time-wise. I should say less bottles a day. So there's a chart in there to help you with that. Hand-raised kittens are usually smaller just because mama's milk is better for them. So don't worry about that. As long as they're healthy and eating good, they're fine. If you need to add baby food to them, just kind of give them a little boost or get some weight on them, make sure it's the kind of baby food that is meat and it doesn't have onion in it. Because if it has onion in it, they can get something called Heinz anemia, and it can kill them. So make sure there's no onion powder in it. Healthy babies, the little itty bitty ones, will sleep right after they eat, just like a regular baby. As they get older, they'll start staying awake longer and start wanting to play. So just kind of go with the flow there on how long you keep them out and how long you play with them and all. Just kind of go with the flow and see how they're doing at any given time. Weaning. That's so much fun. Fun's about to start. Now here, if you're wanting to make notes, this is where Terry Lynn and I will differ big time. Terry Lynn does glop. And not glop. What is it she calls that? When
Gruel.
she's weaning the kittens.
Gruel.
Gruel, thank you, it's a G. She uses a gruel and starts mixing the formula with canned cat food and starts them like that. That's her preference. Me, what I do at about 4.5 to 5 weeks, I'll start putting food, both dry and canned, in water in their room and take a bottle away. So, but you've got to keep an eye on their weights. And after a week of that, I'll take another bottle away. But I'll make sure they've got lots of the dry food, and they've got lots of, the canned food and plenty of fresh water. And the third week and so on until they're just straight eating food. This stuff, I like this. There's something about that Rural Canyon, they got something in it that makes healthy babies, and it's got itty bitty tiny pieces for those new babies. And it's the baby cat, not the kitten. And this is the best thing, I think, for starting them out. And that's why I'll start them out on that for that. And it also helps with, because it is so small, they can swallow it easier. They don't have to chew so much with those little new teeth. Do not use fish. Do not use fish as a weaning method. Only because if you give them fish, they can become picky eaters. And we need to hold off a second. Is she here for the class? Yeah. That's okay. I ran out of folders.
Well, thank you for having it up here.
But yeah, feed them fish, they become picky eaters. Or they can become picky eaters, and then they only want fish. So that's why I make sure that get the turkey, the meat, the chicken, something like that. Just not fish. Potty time. Okay, this is where it's going to get fun. You're about to become obsessed with poo. And babies cannot go on their own until they're about 3 weeks old. So you're going to have to help them go potty. And that means to stimulate them. That means to rub their butts and their tummies to help them go potty. And you have to keep rubbing even once they started, because they can't, if you stop, they'll stop.